Hello, my name is Richard Anthony Pino. I am obviously one of your classmates at ASU. I am currently getting a degree in community advocacy and social policy. I'm 26 years old and I live in southern Arizona. And I strive to be a therapist. So, this is what my goal is. Now, as for the purpose of the assignment, I originally was going to go to church with my girlfriend, but then there was an altercation, not to get into that, but she doesn't want to return. So I ended up getting a hold of the teacher, and he said that he, she, them, whichever he refers, um, referred to me that they do online services. And I come from a small town, and I've never really heard of such a thing. So I chose to do that. So I sat into two because I caught one at the very tail end. Um, and so then I, got to see two of them. So the first event is it's a Christianity church, and I got to see the tail end of them having fun and singing, and everybody was up and dancing and all of that, and it was pretty cool. And then the other one is I don't know exactly what religion it was because they were just talking about verses from the Bible. Um, but it was a really nice place and it was really interesting and it was called A Church at Work. I don't know if anybody's heard of that, but maybe you guys have. Anyway, so the first question says describe why I chose this event and the population of focus. Did that, and how is it different from your own identity? Well, the question to answer that question, how is it different from my own identity? Well, I have my own type of beliefs, and those beliefs usually coincide with different aspects of different religions. I don't necessarily think that you have to go to church to have God in your heart and to follow the teachings. Sorry, that's my phone. Very unprofessional of me. But let me go ahead and take care of that 1 second. Anyway, so now that I took care of that, I'm sorry. So yeah, anyway, so I don't do the whole go to church thing, and I really don't go to church. I've been to church for weddings and funerals and stuff like that, but I never go to attend the service. So this was kind of a new experience for me, and so I didn't really know what to think about going in because you kind of hear like either the horror stories of like everybody having to like donate money, or you have that where like if you don't follow my religion then you're bad or whatever. So I didn't know what to think, but it actually ended up being a pretty interesting experience overall. Looking back at the experience, I really kind of feel silly about my fears because, my concerns, because obviously it's online, but this would be if I was to go in person. Talking about the online aspect of it, though, it was kind of pretty weird because, I don't know, I just, not being there in person is different, but it's really kind of heartwarming to know that they have these type of services for, say, like the elderly or the disabled or anybody who is suffering from the COVID-19 or anything like that. It you have the ability to obtain these services, and that's really interesting and awesome to me. So, as proof that I actually watched and obtained some of these videos, I have a few screenshots and a couple clips of the service that took place as proof. I don't really know outside of that how I can prove that I went to this event, but there's those, and you can take a look at those alongside. I don't know what I put as the background to my voice. Maybe it's a game. Maybe it's just a moving 3D image. I don't know. But here's the proof now, and then I'll come back when it's done. So now that we're done the introduction and we move into the event experience section of this presentation, um, I really it's hard to answer some of the proposed questions for this assignment because I wasn't there in person. I did it online. So when it comes to the question, what were my feelings and thoughts of the event, I thought it was beautiful. I saw people getting up and dancing and just having a good time, and they were of African American descent in the first bit, and it really kind of seemed, like you see those movies where everybody gets up and dances, um, and it just seemed like everybody was very close knit, and everybody was singing and having a good time, and everybody was just, having a very, very spiritual, insightful event that really, you know, you don't really see too often, and you know, yeah. Again, as for the belief aspect of the question, I know that one was Christianity. The other one I really don't know because they just, like I said, they just did a Bible talk. They were just reading from the Bible and then they sang and then they dismissed everybody. So I didn't really get a chance to see that. Um, it's kind of hard to see what their history and their traditions and their beliefs and their struggles are from just a 30-minute presentation where they talked about the Bible. But obviously, the first group was African American, and we know their struggles, and the other group was Caucasians, and we know all about that. So, history-wise, it's hard to really go about, but since we're in America, we have freedom of religion, so they're able to express themselves in a way that they really want to, but at the same time, hardly. I, I don't know. It's really hard to get that from an online um, thing. So the insight that I saw was just a strength in the community. Everybody was together, everybody was singing, everybody had a smile on their face. They were dancing with the kids and the babies, and everybody was singing, and then the pastor, the preacher would sing a little bit, and then he would point the mic out, and then everybody would sing, and it was just really interesting. So I got a really strong sense of community and spiritual belief from watching these videos, but it's something that's hard and you can't really express how it felt because I'm not there, so I'm not in that vibe, I'm not in that moment. But just seeing it from a virtual perspective, you can tell that these people are really close. So now we're going to move into the implication section of the presentation, and we're going to go ahead and say, what were your thoughts and feelings of the event? Well, first off, like I said, I thought that it was very awesome that these services are available to anybody who really wants to attend them online. Some websites even have them archived so you can go back and watch them. And the aspect of them doing this, and they have websites where it's multiple different churches who just get queued up, and you just find your time, you find your church, and it's really beautiful. And then going into the actual services themselves, where everybody was expressing themselves and they were just feeling themselves, and the first one where everybody was singing and dancing and just having a great time, and they were dancing with the kids. It was really heartwarming, and it really, it opened me up to the fact that, maybe going to church isn't a big deal, and that's not going to be my cup of tea, but I could see why people would want to go because it's a powerful place when everybody comes together with the same belief for the same reason, and they all have a good time, I guess you would say. I don't really know how else to explain it. One thing that going forward that I will remember to use going into my social work practice or wherever the life takes me, um, I will remember that there is such a strong sense of community with religious organizations that sometimes, that could be a very strong thing to have on your side if you're advocating for let's say, a community, or if we go into the individual portion of it, somebody might benefit from having that as a community for a support network. Somebody who may be down on their luck or struggling with an addiction or just need a pick me up might be able to find that type of relief and support network through a strong community like this. And that's something very important and something that we should go forward to remember. So, going forward, like I said, going to church is not my cup of tea, and most religions aren't my cup of tea. I don't know really how to describe it, but I kind of just have my own personal beliefs. But going forward, it shows me that people have very strong feelings about their beliefs, so strong that they do go to the church that they believe in. And so how does this help me with cultural humility? Well, this shows me that when it comes to different ideas and different logics, it's okay to relax yours, in, if it means understanding somebody else's. So, for example, just because I don't like going to church doesn't mean that I can't attend a church with my girlfriend or a friend to support them. And, just because you have a certain belief doesn't mean that you're 100% right. That other person also might be correct. So, the question of what can I do for this community is kind of tough to answer, again, because I wasn't there to sit down and talk and see how people would react and interact with certain things. But I can say from a outside perspective, a broader scope, make sure that they're, not being discriminated against, make sure that they're able to publicly speak about what they believe in a fair and calm manner with nobody saying that they can't and discriminating against their right for free religion. Now, when it comes to the personal side of things, make sure that they are attending their church and that they're comfortable with what's going on. Maybe they're like me and they don't necessarily like to go. They don't believe in it, but they're forced to go for some outside source of reason. Make them understand that what they're doing is okay, or help them find something that's more appropriate. It's really, depends on the individual and their personal needs. But because I was unable to sit there and talk to them and actually say, hey, tell me about yourself, your community, stuff like that, it's hard to answer. So, when it comes to the conclusion to this portion, I want to thank everybody for making it this far. And I know this presentation is quite a long, but it's worth 55 points, so I wanted to make sure I hit every little key section. So I appreciate your time. And overall, to conclude, I really did enjoy the time of sitting there and actually seeing how people being in that place brings them joy. It's kind of if I wasn't in the event personally, like if I was, watching it through a window, seeing it live, seeing it raw without any like, oh, well, this is somebody who doesn't come here, so he's judging us. I got to see it raw, like right there, and I thought it was really cool. It was really a good experience, and it really opened my eyes to how different things can work. And going forward, I will remember that things aren't black and white. Oppressed, not pressed. That it's more of a gray spectrum, and everybody's gray, no matter who they are, and it's just where everybody lands on that spectrum's based on what they believe and how they go about their lives. And it's really really important to remember that, because everybody, whether you're upper, middle, lower, poverty stricken, not um, what you believe in. You know, it. Everybody has the right to live their life the way that they would like, and it's really important to keep in mind that just because you believe a way doesn't mean you're always right. And so I want to thank you guys and say that I really enjoyed this class, and I hope you guys have an amazing time, and I hope you have best of luck in your next courses. Thank you.